In terms of the other part of the top, so City and Arsenal, I think we both agree are guaranteed at this point for top four. Who are the other two teams you think that are going to make it? Obviously, Chelsea have signed all these players. You've got Newcastle, Tottenham, United, maybe Liverpool. Who do you think are going to be the final two? Now we know who everybody signed and what their squads look like for the rest of the season. Who are you going with, Steve?
I think United will get in there. I do. I think United will get in there. I think the signing Sabitzer yesterday, especially after Eriksen getting injured, is a good move. I think United will get in there. And, I mean, Liverpool, you can't write Liverpool off because I know they're having a bad season, but when it all clicks for them, they seem to just be getting results. So Liverpool could come late. But looking at Newcastle as well, very strong defensively. Just got to the final of the Carabao Cup, so they're absolutely buzzing. The place is buzzing now in Newcastle. The Toon Army's on it. So I think Man United and Newcastle will do it.
Newcastle, Man United. Do you know what? Man United is an interesting one because for me, when Eriksen was announced as injured yesterday, I thought we don't have anyone to now progress that ball through the middle. We're still growing this squad. We're still thin. And Fred and McTominay are good, but they're just not good enough even with Casemiro. And that means Casemiro is going to play more than we need him to. Going to get run into the ground. The fact we went out and I thought signed a really good player in Sabitzer that quickly as well. I was really, honestly, I was so happy because I've rated the player for years and it was a really quick deal. Now he's come in. I think Weghorst has been very good for what he is in those games. Sancho's coming back tonight. I'm very intrigued to see how he does back in a United shirt, but I'm confident Man United will do. I actually think United will come third in the league now this year.
Sancho, that could be like a massive signing that. If he's gone away, got rid of his demons, got super fit, coming back with a point to prove, the talent he's got, Jadon Sancho with a point to prove is pretty scary, to be honest. And I think, I know what Jadon's about. I watched him in the academy for years. He's absolutely unbelievable. He lost his way a little bit, but him coming back, I think, I'm expecting a reaction from him, and I think he's going to be like a new signing for Man United.
I mean, we all know you're unbiased, and we know that the kind of point of this show is to sit there and just put out opinions and have football conversations, as we know. But hearing you say that is quite nice because, like, Sancho is a player that whenever you bring his name up, generally online, it's just met with you just get abuse. So I'm looking forward to Sancho coming back. Why? He's the biggest flop ever, and it's kind of like he's been here a year. He joined in one of the worst seasons Man United have had. If you look at what went wrong with the club last year, he had a big money move and the club was falling apart at the seams, Ollie and then Ralph. He started the season off okay, but just with all that pressure, and we don't really know, and maybe we will never know, maybe it will come out in a book in 10 years' time, what he's actually been through. And I'm always someone that's a little bit reluctant to kind of, I saw someone say, well, he's on 200 grand a week, he shouldn't have depression. And it blows my mind when I hear people say that. And I say this because I know you're friends with the greatest boxer of our generation in Tyson Fury, who himself had all the money, all the fame, was a heavyweight champ of the world. And I know this isn't insensitive to say because I've watched him on podcasts say it. He was very close to killing himself with depression and he had everything. So this notion that Jadon Sancho can't suffer, the fact he's been away for 3 months getting over this, 3 months is a long time to be away with mental health issues.
Don't forget, he went to Manchester United, which is arguably the biggest football club in the world, other than Real Madrid, and he's gone from Dortmund. So the pressure went up tenfold. He's gone with a big fee, but he did have this sort of aura around him, like he was a bit cocky and arrogant, and let's bring it on. So a lot of people were like, okay, yeah, we see you doing this, doing that, let's have it. It didn't quite work out for him. So Man United identified a problem. They've kept it in-house, which I respect. They've sent him away, which I respect. And he's worked hard. And if he comes back, the player we know what's in there, people got to respect it because you don't know what people are going through. Like you say, we've had footballers in this country, Gary Speed, people like that, who sit on the TV and they smile, and then next minute they go and commit suicide. So we don't want any of that nonsense. We just want, footballers to come over here and entertain us. And I think Sancho himself will admit he wasn't the Jadon Sancho they thought he signed, but he's been given time. He's been given a little bit of breathing space to go away and prove it. And I, for one, wish him all the best. But I think a Jadon Sancho with a point to prove is a dangerous player. And I think, good luck to him.
I agree. It's a cliche, but cliches are only called cliches because there's truth in them. And he will be like a new signing to Man United because we haven't seen the best of him in enough games now. The way he played against Liverpool at the start of the season, that performance, that goal, that's Jadon Sancho for me. And we've seen moments and we've seen glimpses from him. And it's going to be interesting to see him now coming into a settled United team that's playing well. And this is a player that when we brought him, we expected him to fix the right-hand side, which has been broken since Ronaldo left in 2009. We haven't really resolved it. Valencia had a few good years until he put the number 7 shirt on, and then it all fell apart. We just haven't. It's crazy to think arguably the most famous position that you can hold in United history is the right-hand side of the midfield or the attack, the number 7 shirt. We've gone nearly 15 years without having somebody fit to wear the shirt. It's actually a crazy notion when you actually, even in the horrible years from the sort of 70s and 80s, there was good number 7s at Manchester United, that went out there and donned the shirt. So we need that fix. And I would love it to be Jadon Sancho after what he's gone through. Plus, it will take a little bit of pressure off of Anthony, who the pressure that's being put, again, the pressure being put on Anthony is crazy because this guy had a man of the match performance at the weekend. And still, what you saw online was slander. And they're going to try and do the same thing to him they did to Sancho, is put so much pressure on him. Even when he's doing well, they're going to try and break him. And I think Man United have got to do well to protect him. And I think utilizing both of them and kind of bleeding them both back in and everything's going to be really key. But I do see us getting top 3 this year. I think that's coming third. We're not going to finish in front of City yet or Arsenal. But I think we'll get third. Fourth, I picked Newcastle the other day. They signed Gordon. I thought, Newcastle looked good. They're in the final, the first final since 99. But I've got I'm intrigued to see what Chelsea look like in the second half of the season. I know they're 10 points away, but with the players they've purchased, and the first couple of games are going to tell us if they click on Friday night against Fulham and they're purring and this team kind of fits and it kind of gels quicker than we're expecting. They could be a problem, even for Newcastle, that I think they're 10 points ahead of, and United at the 10 points. They could be a real problem in this second half of the season. Could they gain 10 points on the teams in the top 4 now? They absolutely could. So I'm going to go. I'm going to throw this out there as a massive outside shout, and I'm going to say Chelsea to come from the death and just about grab it. Maybe final day of the season, but just grab a top 4 place. I just think with Felix and with Mudryk, I think it's going to kill it. They've got a midfield now. They've got all those injured players coming back as well. I think they could be very, very dangerous in the second half of the season. I really do. It's an outside shot, and I'm punting here. I'm actually punting, but I just got a feeling, just like in the back of my head, that Newcastle is a sensible choice that I should pick. But I'm not writing off Chelsea right now with who they've gone and bought. I think they've bought some stellar players, and I predict them to do well.
Yeah, stranger things have happened. Like you say, they have got a lot of players in. I think I've just read somewhere before that they can't register them all for the Champions League. There's only so many spots as well. So that's a bit mad. But yeah, why not? Listen, I'm looking forward to it. It's the business end of the season's coming up. There's a lot to play for. Be interesting to see what happens, to be honest.
Yeah, and look, someone a comment here says, Terry, they need a lot of things to go their way. It's true. But we have to also remember it's the second half of the season. So start off by beating Fulham. They've got to play Newcastle, and United. So that's 3 points you can gain on both of them there. Man United and Newcastle will both drop in the second half this season. Will both probably lose 2 games each and draw 3 or 4 or variations of the 2. Chelsea can gain 10 points. It's doable, but they need to be brilliant. And I just saw some glimpses of hope before this FA Cup break. I just saw, sort of looking at them, there was the first half against you as an example at Stamford Bridge where they looked good, but they just didn't have the firepower to bring on. They've bought that firepower and players are coming back. If they had some stars to bring off that bench in the second half and react, I mean, they had kids that were so inexperienced. I felt a little bit sorry for them. I just think, and that was against City, who are, one of the best teams in the world. I do think they could. I'm not even saying 100% they'll do it. I've just got this feeling that they're at the very least going to close that gap, and they're going to send out some shots ahead of next year. And I think that, and as you say, they can't even register everybody for the Champions League. So you're going to have 2 or 3 players. They might be out the Champions League in the next round. Who knows? But they're going to have players that are going to be fresh and ready for Premier League action because they're not even playing in the Champions League because they can't. Let's see how it works out. And this Winnerpool keeps commenting this, saying, Terry, you're putting Chelsea over Liverpool in the top 4 poll. Liverpool's level on points, 10 points off third and a game in hand, 19 games to go. Yeah, but Liverpool didn't buy anyone. They bought Gakpo. And I spoke about writing people off. I'm not writing Gakpo's career off, but right now he doesn't look like what they need. He's going to be out the team when Diaz comes back anyway. Liverpool have a midfield that doesn't work, a defense that can't stop conceding goals, and a team that isn't running. I'm not being horrible. There's nothing Liverpool have done in January that makes me change my mind. Honestly, I think Liverpool are going to come about 7th. And I'm not even being, I don't even think I'm being rude as a United fan. Legitimately, they're going to come about 7th. Max.
I think they've got a bit of a run in them, Liverpool. I don't know. I think they have been bad and it doesn't look good over there. But, it's there for people to take in it. If Chelsea can come, whether they can all gel, I don't know. Liverpool, I think they just need a few things to click into gear and they might pick up some results. But like you say, time will tell.
Yeah, it's an interest. When it comes to Chelsea, I'm just glad that we don't have to play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and we've got to play them at Old Trafford. So I'm happy, very happy about that, because they, as I say, they do worry me a little bit. But just looking at Chelsea's fixtures in the Premier League, that's all they've got now. In terms of big teams, they've got Spurs away, to be fair, but they didn't tend to do well against them. They've got United away, Arsenal away. Shit, they've got City away as well, to be fair. They play all the big teams away, to be honest. I didn't actually look at that. Maybe I should have done. And their last 2, look at their, this sets, I didn't know this. Their last game is at home to Newcastle. That might be the decider. That's I didn't even know that until I looked. Can you imagine that? The 2 of them fighting out for top 4 final day of the season, That would be an amazing. Well, actually, I don't want them both. Yeah, I do want them fighting out for it. As long as we're securing 3rd, I'm happy. I don't really care what happens then.